Question of the day. How do you get people to buy your comic? Making comics is hard. Getting people to buy your comic is even harder. But we're here to help.
Today, Destiny will choose 3 indie comic campaigns for us to look at and review. By the end of the show, we will choose who to give our money to based off their pitch. Watch to the end, see if you agree. But in the meantime, you know what that means. Spin that wheel!
There can be only one.
Welcome, everyone. My name is Matt Campbell, creator of Mythica, and with me, as always, is Smurf.
Hello, I am Smurf with 5280 Geek, the Colorado Festival of Horror, and commander of the Colorado Ghostbusters, and sporting a very stylish Tron t-shirt today.
I almost thought that was the Atari logo.
It's a mixture of both. If you see the Flynn's arcade with the Atari, yes. Going retro today. So it's going to be a weekend of retro.
Right on. Well, the big question this week is, can we help one of the 3 indie campaigns, or maybe all 3 of them, hit their funding goal this week? We've got a lot of submissions to the Wheel of Destiny, which we'll check out very shortly. But how you doing, Smurf? I haven't seen you all week.
I've been good. Just catching up this weekend. I've got I'm doing it's Time Warp's 40th anniversary. So in lieu of that, Wayne is doing a live auction in the store. I will be assisting. I will be helping with the auction starting at 7 Saturday night. And then Sunday we're doing a car show as the Ghostbusters to help promote and raise funds for a cancer awareness at the Marriott where we had the Festival of Horror. So that'll be noon to 4. So it's a fun weekend. Like I said, it's a retro weekend.
Right on. Yeah, you got lots going on. It's good to see. We got some people in the chat. We got Heckler the Jester says, yo, Matt and Smurf. John Apple says, how's it hanging?
To the left.
That's funny. I was going to say to the left as well.
To the left. I lead with the right, so I don't know where we were doing. They're like, cover what's valuable. Everyone covers their face and their eyes. I cover my plums. I'm like, nope. They're like, yeah, it was like fight scenes. We were talking. It was a panel, and they're like, instantly anyone in a fight, they cover their face. They protect their face. And they want to look up. I'm like, no, I do that.
Shove my face in there.
I just put that in. I don't care. I want to see what's going to happen. I put my plums, behind. My gentleman sausage does not see that kind of shit.
Hector says, just be glad yours hangs at all. Hey, there's truth to that.
There's truth to that. Who else we got in the chat? Anyone else? Everyone else saying hi?
Yeah. David LaForest says thanks for the include. He's going to be on today's Wheel of Destiny. Hopefully, maybe even get to be one of the 3 chosen.
That would be nice. And I mean, we've had a good track record, huh?
Iggy says Smurf for president.
Don't tease. That would be fun.
Would you really want that job?
I don't need that kind of ridicule in my life. I got plenty of other people willing to ridicule me for free. Right, I don't need that.
Right. Also, we got Charles in here. Says thanks for adding in. So, lots of people joining us today. Welcome everyone. And also, let's go ahead and give a congrats to last week's winner, The Edge by Marvin Wynn. That was a great looking campaign, and we're happy to support it. Yeah, man, and we were like in agreement on that one.
Yeah, it was so well done. I hope they exceeded expectations. After, I don't know if they adjusted anything based on our input, but hopefully they did well and hit, because they only had a few days left, right?
I believe so.
So
don't remember exactly, but yeah. So this is our 22nd episode of the comic book showdown of Ultimate Destiny. I just like saying that name. But we are bringing you the best indie comics in the market each week. So be sure and follow us on Ashline Studios or on YouTube at Matt Campbell Arts, where we post these videos. And each week you can submit your campaign as long as it's live. no what do they call them? Pre-sign up pages, no stores. It has to be live because we're looking at the campaigns and we're giving feedback on how to make those campaigns better and stronger and just like intrigue more people, So it's got to be live.
Yeah, because we're here to creatively critique, help build your presentation based on how marketing and just the everyday Joey bag of donuts is going to look at your ad. We've had some impressive results. Some people who have thanked us for the input that has actually benefited. So we're not here to bash or club you like a baby seal. We're here to help you. Too early for clubbing baby seals? Too early? No. Okay.
So I want to point out that one of the reasons that we do this show is that there's a lot of competition out there. In fact, let's go ahead and show this now. Just this week, right now on Kickstarter, there are 310 comic book campaigns. That means each week you've got hundreds of other comics for people to choose from. So you need to make your pitch something that people is going to be intrigued by. You can't just go on there and say, hey guys, here's my comic. This is the 3rd issue. Come support it. Like, we need to know what it's about. Why should we care? All that kind of stuff. And that's what we really dive into with this show. So hopefully we can help some people out today. But I want you guys to tell me which one of the campaigns today you think intrigued you most. And then we're going to vote and choose one to back because there can be only one.
There's no lightning.
Sorry. Give him a lightning strike. There you go. Lightning on demand.
At super producer Ray, hard at work.
Yep. All right, and we've also got Emmy back with us this week. She was on last week. We squeaked by without her, but she's going to make sure we're on top of all the links. So let's get to the Wheel of Destiny. Let's take a look. Let's go down the list real fast. Sherlock Holmes, The Phantom Mask. The Four, an action-packed comic. Red Cat, Celebrity Status. Quest 1 through 4, an epic fantasy adventure. Tales from Toxic Pond. Ronan Riley, The Knight, and Welcome to the Evolution. Sounds like a pretty good lineup this week.
It sounds pretty good. The funny thing is, people say that comic books are on the downward trend, and it's not. The bubble has popped, and there's no market for comics. And yet here we are. We have all of these people submitting for their own comics, and it's a growth industry, and everybody's looking for the next big story. So I have huge issues when someone says the comic book market is down, especially when you have all these people pushing these amazing ideas and new concepts and all of that. It's just, you got to know where to look. That's all.
Yep. I agree. And the thing is, again, another thing about this show is like, there's a lot of stories out there that are just rich with character development, the great stories, but they're not reaching an audience because of their pitch. And people,
for one reason or the other. Yeah.
For one reason or the other, that people don't realize that there's a good story there because they weren't given enough information. And that's what we really want to dive into today. So, you know what it's time for?
Let's fucking go!
There can be only one Highlander type situation. Behold, my wheel of
Destiny!
Pitter patter, let's get at her.
Time to spin the wheel.
Let's do it.
Pitter patter.
Pitter patter. Let's get at her.
Let's get at her.
First one is Welcome to the Evolution. I like that name.
That was a quick spin.
It was.
Boom. All right.
Maybe they like cranked up the speed on it a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. So we got that one. Already jumped up in the chat. Emmy's on it. Let's go to the next one then. Number 2. Looks like The Knight.
Da, 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 da. I'm here to save you.
All right, that leaves one more for the Wheel of Destiny. Which one is it going to be? Let's find out. Looks like Ronan Riley.
All right.
All right, congratulations to those 3 campaigns that were chosen by Destiny to be on the Comic Book Showdown.
So what I find very interesting, because Ronin and Knights, there was a comic book that came out this week from Image called Knights versus Samurais, issue 1, and it looks glorious. It's an amazing looking comic. So in the Wheel of Destiny now we have Knights and Ronins, which are samurais without masters. So
Say what?
Say what? That is just freaky deaky. Cosmic forces at work here, ladies and gentlemen. Goddamn, you are witnessing history. Really, I've only been on 1 cup of coffee, and there's no booze in it yet, so this is just me.
All right, are you ready to dive in, sir?
Let's do this.
Let's
Light
do
the
this.
fires, kick the tires.
Pitter patter, let's get at her. All right, first up we have Welcome to the Evolution. Enter a new superhero universe. The Asanaverse in Welcome to the Evolution, Ray of Hope, the debut adventure of the Omega Corps. What's that tell you so far?
I don't know what the Omega Corps is.
Right, so right there, that tagline underneath of the title, that's an opportunity to let people know about the genre, the tone, all kinds of things, right? So take that one to your advantage whenever you can. And my best advice is to go look at other people's campaigns, lots of them, and see what kind of taglines they have, Go ahead.
And then, this defines your branding and how you want to establish the perspective of your book, how it's viewed, because people tend to lean towards comfortable genres, things that they know that they like to read, like true crime or, horror or things of that nature. So, you want to give something that would give it, some gravitas, something, the hook. What is the hook? I don't know what the Omega, right away I think of Darkseid, like the Omega beams. And, or the Omega Men, or my mind went to so many different things for Omega that this does not hold anything, because we don't know what the universe is. It's just words at this point.
Right.
There's no value.
All right, so let's dive in a little bit deeper. Let's find out what the video tells us. Let's jump right into that.
It doesn't matter what side of the fence you're on when the fence is gone. Earth's military decimated by alien invaders, cities in flames, mass suicides, looting, riots, and panic in the streets. 9 men and women, each a direct descendant of an extraterrestrial prince, each with personalities and beliefs as powerful and as conflicting as their supernatural abilities, set aside their differences to fuse into a core for their first mission, one they cannot fail. To stop a global threat to our existence, they transform into Earth's last line of defense, the first ray of hope, the Omega Corps. Asani Entertainment invites you to escape into the future, to a wondrous dimension that lies beyond the edge of imagination, a new superhero universe, the Asaniverse. Join the evolution.
Oh,
we're not done.
Oh,
Come and go.
Hello.
with us, if you dare.
Was there audio there? Because I didn't hear it.
yeah. He said, "Join us if you dare." Okay.
All right. All right. So what did you get out of that, Smurf?
I got the premise. They filled in a lot of the holes that we had at the beginning. okay, this is just me nitpicking, but the audio was really distracting to me a lot.
I knew you were gonna say that.
The audio is just like driving me nuts, and again, I know not everyone has like high level gear or quality gear, but you could run that through a filter. You could do that with a different, like even a headset mic is going to be better than whatever the hell that was. And do it in a closet. Okay, if you are going to record, and I know this sounds weird, if you're going to record something on your telephone or a headset on your phone, go into your closet. The clothes and everything else acts as a natural sound deafening room. Okay, it eliminates any kind of background noise. It makes your voice sound normal. So if you're going to do a recording or professional recording like that, it's an easy cheat. Easy cheat. You don't have to do anything, even if it's just sticking your head in there. But
Right.
the cat,
Yep.
the cat wants to know too. The cat's like, I got my 2 cents. But
Yep.
I mean, okay, I did like, besides the distraction of the audio, I did like the sketching and all of that. It was kind of fun to watch. It got a little distracting towards the end because there's so much going on, and I'm trying to focus on what he's saying, but I'm waiting to see if what we're seeing in front of us evolves into something. But it's very busy.
Right.
And I know you and I have always talked about having something there and giving it a talk over, which he did. He did great. Mm-hmm. But it's too busy. It's too fast. Even if it's just 2 sketches, I like the covers at the end, but that sketch intro was cool. It just needed to slow down later in.
Yeah, so I totally agree with you. I feel like the first thing that I noticed was like there's this epic sound, which is pretty exciting. It feels good. But then the audio of the voiceover and the audio of the sound were too equal. So it made it difficult to hear what was going on. So if you're going to have audio in the background, you got to have it down into like the 20-25% range, where your audio is up in the like 70 to 80% range. Yep. So there's a really big difference. I have a degree in animation. In fact, one of my alumni friends is with us today. Dead Cosmos just made it in. And so we learned a lot about audio in that stuff. And then I've done multiple campaigns of my own and had to go back. And one of the easiest things to do to help check for that is just to make your video and test it out. Have quite a few people, review it and give some feedback and let them ask, can you hear it all okay? And those kinds of things. So the other thing about this campaign video that I saw so far is like, I loved the artwork showing. I like the buildup of that. That's always fun to watch. Mm-hmm. And I got, like you said, I got the premise of like who these characters are and the world building. But, we come back to the idea of like, okay, what am I getting for my money in this comic? What's this story about? Why should I care about these characters at all? And so hopefully, maybe we're going to see some of that down in the description. Right?
Is this a kickoff issue? Is this issue number 1, or does it say in the description? Because I don't remember hearing anything of this as the first issue, or we're in the middle of a story, or anything else like that.
We're gonna find out together, my friend.
Ooh.
So let's take a dive in and find out. Let's
Batman the hell out of this, shall we?
All right. It says, enter the Asanaverse. It's time for something new. I'm going to skip till I see something about that we haven't already heard. It's time for reimagination of the superhero stories. This is all about the Asanaverse, sophisticated high-octane thriller set against an ongoing eons-old intergalactic conflict between warring extraterrestrial races with an in-story history spanning a millennium. So there's lots of world building, lots of premise, starring a dissimilar cast of protagonists, new characters, descendants of Asani. So there's so much information dump here that's going to get kind of overwhelming to my brain. That's why I'm kind of skipping over some of this stuff.
Yeah, because you've pretty much lost your average reader at this stage. I'm going to bet.
This is reimagining the genre. Still talking about the genre. Welcome to the Evolution. This is an oversized comic we printed on 8.5 by 11.
Okay. Good quality print.
I still haven't seen, like you said, is this the first issue? But I think it is. Um, got some great looking artwork here. Nice high contrast, yellows against blues. Lots more samples here. Some sexy pages.
Ooh.
A little bit about the characters. So, little thing that says age appropriate. This book is for mature readers.
Yay, boobies!
Right. However, I'm quite a bit of ways down now, and I still have not seen anything about
The story.
The story. So I'm going to jump back up to the top and say, I think that's our number one challenge with this one is, what is this about? What am I getting? Why? What's the problem? What's at stake? Why should I care? All those things, you know?
Well, I mean, he kind of gives us that little cherry blossom in the beginning of, you know, mass suicides, the world's at, you know, its darkest hour and all of that. But it doesn't lead to why these people are involved. They're superheroes, but as we know, the boys are superheroes too, but they're not the kind of superheroes you expect. Are they a product of the environment? Are they here from the other dimension? And then we have, again, the people from space coming in. So there's a lot of conflicting stuff, but is this an origin issue? Or, I mean, is it an I don't know. And I'm with you. I don't know anything. The art looks great. I love the sketches. It looks spectacular, but I got nothing, man.
Yeah, like I said, video looks great. It needs some audio adjustment, but I think the biggest benefit that this campaign could have is a little bit of information about what this particular issue is about. And as you go forward into the second, third, fourth, for me, I was already to the 9th issue on my last campaign. It's really important that you treat each individual issue as its own campaign, give people a reason why they're buying this comic. I mean, think about like when you get Previews magazine, or the stores get Previews magazine, and there is all these descriptions of all these different comics. There's a blurb about what each comic is about. Imagine if every time you opened up Previews magazine, there was a synopsis of the premise of the Spider-Man universe and the rich characters that are involved. But, you know, we're at like thousands of issues in now.
Yeah. Bit by a radioactive spider He doesn't shoot web out of his butt, but.
So I think it's super helpful. But everything else is looking great. It's really well organized. It's clean. It has great looking characters, great looking world building. There's a lot of time looked like it went into world building, but maybe just a little bit more about like, what's the conflict? Like what's really at stake if they don't succeed, you know, that kind of stuff. But
yeah, I agree. I can't. All that world building could just be moved down one paragraph and just what are we in store for now, and then give us the rest. Yeah, the rest of the story.
So with that, we're going to move on to the next one. Let's see. It's called The Knight. It's called The Knight, a Batman meets the Wire crime thriller. There it is.
Okay.
So underneath the tagline says, a brutal crime drama with a street level vigilante and a great blend of both genres that digs into the darkest depths of humanity. So in this particular pitch, we know the genre. It's a crime drama. We've got a street level vigilante. So we get a good idea of what we're getting in this comic pretty quickly. Diving into the deepest depths of humanity. I really love this this thumbnail too. It's a pretty exciting action-packed looking cover. So let's dive in and see what the video tells us. All right, I'm going to go first this time.
Okay.
So I loved this video. This was really well done, beautiful artwork. I loved that. Right away, we had the who, we had the character, we had the villain, what he's going to be up against. We even had some stakes, even though they were sort of broad. He's going to costume everything, but there was some stakes there. But right at the very end, when there was some crucial text to be reading, it went really fast, and I couldn't read like the last 2 sections of text. We talked about that before on this show. When you have text on the screen, read it out loud and add like another 30% of time. It took 10 seconds to read, then make it 13 seconds long, because it goes slower, or it takes people longer to read than you think. Because I didn't get either one of those last things, but the rest looked great. What are your thoughts, sir?
I like it. I was getting some like contrasts of like Nighthawk, an old Image title from like way back in the day. I was like, all right, yeah. So I was just like, all right, this is kind of cool. I do like the premise and all of that, but again, why is the night the night? I mean, I had like a few other questions, which would probably lead me into reading the issue, which is always good if you get the whole like, why is he a knight? Why that name? So there's got to be a story there. So in that idea, I definitely would pick it up off of the shelf without a doubt if it was in a comic book shop. So, but yeah, slow down, and maybe even I don't know. I feel like I'm missing something. Like there's something
like
that. I don't know. That's what's bothering me, because I love I don't know, because the presentation and everything is great. The video is awesome. The sound is good. I mean, all of that. And maybe the text going by so fast kind of left me like in a lurch, because I wanted to know more, but I feel like I'm missing something. And maybe it's in the description below, but at the end of this, I'm like, okay, I'm waiting for something else.
Okay. Well, like I said, I the only thing that, I was more curious about is like, I think they did a really great job like presenting this comic as a comic book hero type character without really telling us anything about the the person underneath.
Yeah.
Are they struggling with anything, or what kind of life do they have? Like, we didn't get any of that, but it still works well as that. It
works very well, and I'm hoping that it goes against, like, we don't know who the knight is. We get like the villain side of the story, and then they allude to who the knight is, and I think that would be a great way to tell this story. But again, I'm just speculating.
Yeah. Let's see. Going back here, they did hit their goal. They had a $1,000 goal. They've got 61 backers, which for a first time comic, if it is the first comic, it looks like it is. I'm not 100% sure yet. But for a first time comic, that's not bad. It's not, like into big numbers yet, but that could be for a number of reasons. It could be that they don't have their rewards set up in a way that's going to maximize their potential. But I think the hook so far is pretty good.
Yep.
This shot right here feels very, Batman-esque.
Very Batman-esque.
Right.
Even kind of Spawny. I was like, kind of looks a little Spawny.
Little mixture of both, right?
Yeah.
And the title of the night kind of sounds like that too. So I think that one of the things that you want to try to counteract is that feeling of people like say, oh, this looks familiar. This looks like something I've seen before. Well, what makes your comic different? Why is this one different than those others that this kind of looks like? That's a good way to intrigue people. Down here it says the night is a tale of redemption set against a brutal crime syndicate waging a war with children on the streets of Washington, D.C. But who is the Knight? Is he the rogue government agent Kincaid?
Ooh.
I don't know.
Is he Bob Dole? I'm Bob Dole. I'm the Knight. Sorry.
No,
low-hanging fruit on that one. Couldn't help it.
So we know who the villain is. We don't know specifically who the hero is. Looks like that's part of the allure of this particular issue, is trying to figure out who this person is. that could be an interesting approach, maybe.
I like it. I think it's unique. I think, again, why should we care? I think this is a nice, good spin on a classic storytelling. I think it's great.
Yeah. Naomi Comics says it looks like a Batman clone. Yeah, we're saying something just similar to that.
Yep.
So all in all, though, I feel like this one's still, as far as a campaign presentation, like I can't really, say anything about the comic till I read it. But as far as a campaign presentation, I feel like there's a bit more information here than the previous one had.
Yep.
It looks great. It's got some, nice looking covers. Again, these covers do feel very Batman-esque. Like that one, again,
that one
standing on the.
I think I don't want to, and I apologize for saying this word. It looks like a Jim Lee ripoff. I can't. Tribute, Jim Lee tribute. There we go. That's the word I was looking for.
Right.
But yeah, that looks like a Jim Lee for sure. Oh.
Yeah. I've seen this pop up in the groups, the Facebook groups, a lot, where people will say, "Hey, this is my character." In fact, a couple of years ago, it went so intense. I had to jump in and be like, "Hey, this is your drawing, and this is the thing you drew it from, and they are identical. You drew right over the top of it." And
I remember that. I do remember that.
This happens a lot, and people, are like, that's part of comics. That's what people do. I'm like, no, not exactly. Like,
not
it's
really.
one thing to be influenced by them. It's even like study them, but it's another thing to just straight up trace their character and then change the costume. So that doesn't, because of anybody that is, a comic book fan is going to notice it. Now, in that particular case, there was no indication, there was no mention that, hey, this is an homage. There are lots of stuff that are an homage, and this might even say that it is. I'll make sure, I want to give credit where credit is due there. Volume hardcover by Colton Worley. Not really sure there. Although Charles is with us down in the chat. He says it is an homage, right?
Okay.
So I'd be sure to maybe even add that. You can go back and add that.
Yeah, give credit where you can. That way, people are they don't immediately jump on you like Liefeld back in the day, who was swiping GI Joe covers for cable. I mean, it was. It was bad. That poor guy got just ridiculed.
Right, and it's funny how quickly the emotions of the fans can change. Like if they see it and they see it say, "Oh, this is an homage," they're like, "Oh, that's so cool." They see it and it doesn't say homage, they're like, "You're a thief! You stole that."
That dude's just swiping the shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll turn quick.
Change quick.
The tides will turn quickly. But I mean, I think this is overall a very solid presentation. I mean, I think I don't know what I would do differently. And like I said, I don't know if it's just me, but I'm still waiting for like a little bit more. And I don't know if it's just maybe slowing down that text. But I mean, we've got the why, we've got the what, we've got, why do I care? And the art looks great. I mean, without going through further, I think I would pick this up off the shelf without a doubt. So, if it was there, done.
Right on. Well, that brings us to number 3. Let's jump over that tab instead. This one is called Ronan Riley, number 1. So we know it's number 1 comic right out of the gate.
Yay!
Says a 24-page Blue Shack comic. I'm familiar with Blue Shack. I've heard mixed things about that. A story by Zach Lynch, pencils by Mike Mez Phillips, inks by Mark McKenna, colors by Matt Webb, letters by Desi. I love that they're giving credit up there in that first tagline, but unless your backers know who all those people are, I mean, Mark McKenna is obviously...
McKenna is the only name that really stands out. Sorry, guys. I mean, you could be infamous. You could have street cred, but I don't know you.
Right.
I don't care.
But again, I mean, that is giving credibility to things, which is always a good thing to have if you can have in your campaign, whether it's a review from a comic book source or the artists, well-known artists that are working or writers that are working on it. That's always a good thing to aid in your credibility. because people are supporting a campaign that they don't know. So it's always helpful. But
Well,
it's
and
not
I
telling
think
us anything about what this comic is yet.
no, and everyone worries about getting taken. They support something, and they never get the product. And the scams are plentiful out there right now. So adding credibility is great. I just wouldn't lead with it. I mean, you could still do again. This is your tag. This is your branding. I'm not. Yes, I would maybe buy because of McKenna and a few other people if I recognize them. But that's not going to be the clincher.
Right.
No.
So a question was asked by Niobe Comics. Why are all these Kickstarters under $2,000? Honestly, in my experience in doing this show for a while, and also having done campaigns now since 2012, I think most of it, anytime I see a campaign struggling, most of the time it comes from the golden rule, which is they didn't have an audience before they started their campaign, and they're relying on Kickstarter to just have everyone appear and create it. Remember a while back, we had that animator that did a campaign, and his campaign was solid, and he had the most seller video we've ever seen. He obviously had a bunch of credentials as an animator. He had all his buddies working on it, but his campaign was still struggling because he had not done any social media work. He really wasn't online that much. He was just behind the scenes working on his animation. And so it's, you can't just rely on Kickstarter alone. I always like to say this isn't Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. You have to bring an audience to it, which means doing some work before you make the campaign, of getting out there, talking to people, building the hype, but that's only one factor. There's a lot of different factors, but it's usually the biggest one that I see.
Well, and you got to understand that again. There's a finite amount of money in the market. How many comic book campaigns did you say
There's currently 310 this week.
So even if you gave $1 to each one of those campaigns, you're out $300. Just to put it in perspective. So what could you spend $300 on? I know that's a statue immediately for me, but so you've got all of these finite factors, and is this going to last? There's other things that as collectors and readers that we automatically take. Is this going to be around? Am I reading this and I'm never going to get the rest of the story? So how you put your package together and projections and all of that definitely come into play, and you definitely have to press the flesh, guys. You've got to get out there. You've got to network. You've got to work every angle possible. Local comic book shops, social media, even and Matt can attest to this. Even before you launch the campaign, teasing the campaign, getting people's attention. It's the same thing for shows. They throw out the teaser. Here, this is coming. Build up the hype, or just any way to get people's attention on your product and away from everybody else.
Yeah, I do think that I know for me, the success of my campaigns has strongly come from having an email list, going to all the shows, traveling around the country, doing comic book events, and collecting an email sign-up sheet, having these people, on an email list, because statistics show if you have 1,000 backers on any given social media and you make a post, you're only going to reach maybe 1% of them. Yeah. If you have 1,000 people on your email list and you send them out, closer to 30 to 40% of the people are going to open those emails, right? So that's a much higher reach than any social media. So I always highly recommend getting an email list going, because that helps quite a bit. And
I know people push back, I don't want to send emails. It's a scary thing to do, because you don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be in the spam folder or the junk mail. But trust me, even on all the businesses that I have done and do, I still have an email list just to connect with those people, because they gave you their email address. That means there was a connection. There's some kind of dialogue, and they want to know more. And you're just simply sharing what you have, what you've discussed. And nerds will turn, but also nerds are like, well, I didn't know. If you would have just told me. So you just be gracious with their time. Just be gracious and respectful. It works.
Yeah. All right. Back to the campaign. Let's see what's going on here. Let's check out the video. What's that?
Don't know.
Oh man, this is going on and on.
Okay.
So I'm stopping. All right.
Wow. Okay.
So I'll let you go on this one.
Okay.
Give me go first.
Yeah. That one hurt because here's the thing. Great line work. The line work and everything on the characters' designs and the art that I've seen through this snooze fest was great.
It was very much like a bedtime story type of pace.
I mean, I was waiting for like the crescendo, like, oh, we're gonna get like this cool build up, the and then all of a sudden it takes off. Yeah, I'd take off to my pillow. Holy hell! I was like, that's. I mean, I understand setting the theme, but put some energy and some excitement into your project. Be proud of what you're putting out there. Don't be timid. Be bold. This makes me want to take a nap.
Yeah. I mean, making videos can be challenging, but statistics show that they do increase your pledges by a percentage. I forget how much, but I mean, it's not huge, but it definitely helps. And a lot of times it's the first thing that people see. So if they look at this and they're bored, well, that might be the impression they get of the comic, And so you gotta portray the same kind of energy and tone that the comic does. If it's an exciting, action-packed, thriller, then the music should match that, and the pacing should match that. And this one, was really just sort of slow and dry. And the main thing is, like, putting all that aside, we basically just reiterated what we got in the tagline, which was who is working on it, the names of the people that are working on it. And it wasn't until I was already kind of beyond caring that we started getting some other information here and there about some character, So it's not doing a lot to help the campaign. So you would have been better off with like a 20-second pitch saying, hey guys, this is my comic. This is what it's about. This is the character and what they're trying to do. Check it out below. The end.
Yeah. Okay. And I understand giving credit where credit is due. And Matt and I are absolutely for that. But these names are not Capullo, Lee, Silvestri. Those names sell comics. Those names have a following. McKenna, he's got a decent following, but he's not selling this comic. There's no reason for you to waste, and I'm going to say it, bury the lead with the story versus the talent. No one's buying this because of the talent. They're buying it because of your story and how you're selling it. And again, great line work. I love the layouts. Everything looked good. But I don't know anything about it. I guess it's her family. Is that her dad? I have questions, but we don't know anything about the story. We have a premise, which is cool. Great work, but Mark, I love you.
Yeah.
Mark, don't be mad at me.
Yeah, we've seen campaigns that have done well, even without having a video. Like I said, you don't have to have a video, but it's certainly statistics show that the campaigns that with videos tend to do a little bit better. But in this case, it might be hurting. I don't know. But let's take a little bit of a look at what the campaign says, see if it tells us anything about the story.
Let's do a deep dive.
Let's do a deep dive. All right. As it happens to say, dive into the depths of adventure with our resilient heroine, Ronan Riley, as she navigates the sunken wreckage of Celtica Navy vessel. In search of clues to her enigmatic past and crucial salvage, Ronan braves the treacherous Blue Shack oceans, a vast, mysterious expanse teeming with beauty, danger, and the unknown. So then it goes into, captivating art by all these other people.
All right.
Accolades and rewards for the different people that are working on it. Lots of information about the artist, and they're really leaning in heavily on that. We've covered this comic before too, the vampire. Remember that?
Yeah, we did. We did cover that, and I think it had the exact same challenges that this one is.
Yep. So it might be the same person putting together the campaign. So yeah, I mean, all in all, we scrolled all the way down and we didn't get any information about what the campaign is, and so I do feel like between the unexciting video and the lack of what this story is really about, other than like we've got a character who's diving into this world of stuff that's going to be awesome. Just trust us, bro. There's not a lot here.
There's not enough to work off of. I mean, I was getting like Lara Croft Tomb Raider, feels like, okay, this could be cool, but evidently that's not the route it's going. And
right.
Is the whole issue of her diving to this wreckage with flashbacks? I mean,
and that's another thing that is, I think it's a little bit of a jumping the gun or jumping the shark, if you will. That I'm scrolling through this entire campaign, and there's not a lot in the way of pages and artwork from the pages or artwork from the book. So we've got a cover here. If you guys can see that, yeah. And then we've got some interior pages, but they're very small, so you're not going to get to really see what's going on there. And this says vampire, so that might actually be from the other comic. If I'm reading right, I think that says vampire at the top. So I don't know if these are from it. This might be, but that's the last of the scroll, right? So we might get one page, might get one cover of art. That's all we get to see. That's too early to launch a campaign.
I fear, and I might be wrong, so don't chastise me, but you're making up the lack of content by pitching the creative team. And we've seen this before, and I'm not accusing anybody of anything. But when you're kind of, it's a shell game. Like, here it is, but we're going to move it around. So we don't have to tell you what the story is because we have all of these amazing people. Look over here. Look at all their accolades. Look at all of the accomplishments and all the other stuff we've done. But we still don't know anything about this story, vaguely about this story. So
yeah, I'm not in an earthquake. My cat is jumping all over the table right now.
I was gonna say it's a little rocky.
I need a cat wrangler in here today. Today of all days.
Of all days. So yeah. No.
Yeah. So yeah, I think this one needs a lot of work. I think that you need to have a little bit more to show your audience, some covers, some interior work, so a little bit about what the story is about. And that's the thing, like, let's just say for the sake of argument, I'm about to smack my cat, get up out of my chair and like skin it. No, I'd never do that. But let's just say for the sake of argument that this is a creator that needs the money to pay these artists, so they don't have any of the pages done yet, right? Which is, understandable to a certain degree, but I still think you should pay for a few pages to have done and some covers. But let's just say I'm raising this money so I can pay them, right? Well,
at least
that should mean that you should have the story, which means pump us full of that, who the character is, what I'm getting out of this issue, what are they going to be facing, what's the dilemma, like feed that to us. Let us, because I mean, if a writer can do it for a novel and get a book going, then you should be able to do that with a comic too. Yeah, covers tend to sell better. A lot of people buy it for the art, for sure. But at least you'd have something going.
But if you're going to do it that way, if you're gonna like pitch the covers, put those above the bios. All right, give us the premise, give us the story, give us the covers, and then give us the fluff. Because again, I'm familiar with everybody, and to Ray's point, it does feel a little deceptive about is it a finished product? What's the goal, and how many days do we have left on this?
It says, back to the top here, they have 5 days to go, 23 backers, which is not a good sign. That means, again, they haven't really promoted. If they're a company, which this is Blue Shack Comics, seventh created thing, so they should have some sort of audience. And they're about $300 short of a relatively low goal. 2,000 isn't too high. So, again, I feel like there's just not enough here for people to really latch onto, to be intrigued by.
Yeah, and I think it's a reflection. The backers have actually solidified our points of that there's not a lot to go on. Give us something. Give us some action. Give us a higher tempo. Even if the video is long, you can still share the video. You can still get people hooked for, shares on YouTube and TikTok and Twitter and all the rest of them. You can share that video and have it go viral and kind of salvage this. But if you're going to do that, change that music, at least give it a build up, or there's plenty of free music out there that you can use. That's not going to put people to sleep.
Yeah.
But I agree. There's not enough to know. I can't, I wouldn't pick it up. I'm sorry. Sorry, Mark. I wouldn't pick it up. God, he's going to hate me.
Yeah, I mean, I see Mark at shows sometimes, so we'll have a chat with him. All right, guys, it's time. It's time for us to decide which one we are gonna throw our money at this week. So,
okay.
What I want to know from you is, of these three, which one would you support? Leave your comments in the comment section. And which one intrigued you the most, right? So to remind you which one we had Welcome to the Evolution, The Night, of Batman meets wire crime noir thriller. They even used it in the description.
They did.
And Ronan Riley, number one, our last one, right? So which one is it going to be? I'm putting mine right now.
I'm going to have to improvise this week because somebody, me, forgot to grab a pen.
Uh-oh.
So this is going to
sign it? Are you going to sign it?
Smurf is an idiot.
All right. Are you ready, though?
I am ready. I am ready with my improvisation.
All right. So we got some votes in the chat as well. But drum roll, please, Mr. Ray. He uses it as Batman. All right. Why did you end up using that one, Smurf?
I think The Night is probably the best presentation. I like the character designs. I love everything about it, even though I'm still left with trying to figure out why I want more. And maybe that is a good sign that I want more. And like I said, I picked this up off of the shelf, given the presentation and where they're at. Just slow down on that text, or maybe even do a voiceover, read it to them, so no matter how fast that goes, you can still read it and add that audio to it. But I like the presentation and I like the premise.
Yeah, pretty much the same thing. Like I said, we choose one every week to back because we do like to support the indie comic community. And we also are trying to help out those that are trying to make indie comic campaigns. So each week we're going to do this Fridays at 11 a.m. If your campaign is still live next week, then feel free to submit your campaign at the Ashland Studios Facebook page. Also, be sure and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Turning that off. Subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can see all the old videos, because we have 21, going to be 22 of them now.
22.
And soon I'm going to start making some other comic based videos, but right now this is our primary one. So, all right. So you can check out more of my work as well as other Action Line Studios content at Matt Campbell Art, actionlinestudios.com, or Action Line Studios on Facebook. Smurf, where can they find you at?
5280geek.com, 5280geek on Facebook, and Instagram is 5280geek. Our podcast is available on all your favorite podcast platforms. And this week, I just posted up my interview with icon Pam Grier, which is on our YouTube, as you guessed it, 5280geek. So go and hang out with us a little bit there and witness me interviewing an icon who is just so amazing. Pam Grier's interview was so much fun, and more to come for interviews and stuff along that lines. So there we go.
All right, guys, if you were one of the campaigns that was on this show, feel free to go throw your link in the bottom chat section once this posts on YouTube, so that other people can go check out your campaign while they watch the video. Thank you so much for joining us. Smurf, see us out.
In the meantime, run fast, laugh hard, and always be kind. Good night.